Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again for another session to learn about English grammar. My name is Electoli and I am a faculty of English at Edufy Institute. So today we're going to be learning about a very important topic that is almost prevalent in most of the grammar exams and English exams that we find for competitive exams, and that is phrasal verbs. Now, phrasal verbs are basically a very small part of what we call a very big syllabus, that is the vocabulary section. So let's look at what are phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are basically a combination of verbs that come along with prepositions and even an adverb as well. So what we can find is that whenever we have this combination of a verb and an adverb, or a verb and a preposition as one word, we call them as phrasal verbs. And what we must also understand is that when we have phrasal verbs, the meaning keeps changing with the addition of another word. That means the main word means something else with the combination of another word, that is preposition or adverb. So let's take a look at the example here. For example, ask for. So ask for, when we say ask for, we use the word ask and then for, right? So this is a combination of a verb and a preposition. So we tend to understand this, the meaning of this part, ask for, is mostly to denote a request or to request. So in a sentence, if I use it in a sentence, he asked for a cup of coffee. So here we find that he is requesting for a cup of coffee, right? And it can also mean another thing, and that is consequences. For example, he got what he asked for. So if he had done something wrong, let's say, for example, if I say Ram has gotten what he asked for, right? So we are saying that he has been given the consequences of his action. So asked for and asked for can mean two different things, even though the main word is the same and for is used there. You will have to understand the meaning changes with the combination of the verb and the preposition. If we look at this, another example, back up. So we are using two direction words, that is back and up. So back is used as a word, as a verb, right? To denote some action, right? And also up. So this is a combination of a verb and a preposition. Again, what is it used to denote? What is the meaning of that very phrasal verb? It is to support, providing backup. Let's say if I say, my friend provided backup for me. So backup means it's not talking about somebody performing the action of going back. Rather, it talks about the meaning of having the support. So if I say my friend supported me, so you can always use she gave me backup. So that means to provide support. In this one, she backed up her friend during the argument. Here we find the word back up. This is basically the change of the tenses and not the meaning, okay? But the meaning remains the same, that is supporting her friend by someone else during an argument. So backup is used to show support here. So we will always keep on seeing this type of examples when we talk about phrasal verbs, and that is combination of two words that does not mean exactly as the verb given, but rather means something else. And we will also find the usage of this in a lot of idioms and a lot of phrases in this phrasal verb section. We use the word blow up. Blow up is used to express the idea of exploding, to explode. Blow up means to explode. So in this example, the bomb blew up in the middle of the street. So this is not just talking about the action word blew, but also used with preposition to talk about explosion. So this is a verb, but it's a phrasal verb because it has been used with a preposition, up. Okay? And we can also use the word blow up to denote one thing, and that is to indicate sudden increase. To indicate sudden increase. And what does that mean? For example, she blew up the scenario. So if I say she blew up the scenario, I'm not talking about her putting a bomb somewhere and then blowing it up. Rather, I'm talking about her exaggerating or increasing the situation from the reality to something more. So the sudden change, right? The sudden increase, the word that I've used here is talking about how she has propagated something beyond the normal sense. So, blew up is not just going to talk about the physical action of blowing up, but rather it is talking about the action of increasing or doing something beyond the proportion of normal. Let's look at another example. Breakdown. It means to break or stop working. So if I use the verb break itself, that is the verb, it talks about what? Breakage, broken, something to be destroyed, right? Something to have been not being able to function properly. The word break. But then if I use the word down, break down, it is used to denote something that is stopped, that has stopped working. And what does this mean? My car broke down on the way. If I say my car broke, it basically means what? That my car has been broken into half, right? Which does not make any sense. But then if I want to denote the fact that my car is not functioning properly and something has gone wrong, that it has stopped working, I will use the word breakdown, which is a phrasal verb. So phrasal verbs may have a main verb that denotes actions, but when used with preposition, it will have another meaning. Let's look at the next one, break up. So again, the same thing. The word break is being used here, but rather than down, it has the preposition here is being used here is up. Break up. So when you find this, we almost every one of us know what is a breakup. It is to end a relationship. And that is not just talking about the relationship of a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Sometimes you can use this phrasal verb to denote a lot of other relations as well. Maybe you have a broken up relationship with your friend. Same thing also you can use it here as well. So breakup means to end the relationship, not just about a relationship between a boy and a girl, but it can mean a relationship between any kind, that is family or friends as well. So what you can see here in the example is they decided to break up after 5 years together. So here we see the combination of the verb along with the preposition up to denote the end of a relationship. The family had they had to break up with the family. Also, you can write the same thing because it is not just used to denote the relationship between a boy and a girl, but also with family or friends as well. The next one, bring about, which is a very important phrasal verb. What you can find here is bring is talking about the action of taking something and then bringing it somewhere, something to someone, right? So that is the word bring. But then if I use bring about, it is not talking about someone bringing anything now. It is talking about the cause, to cause something, right? For example, we talked about the cause of various natural disasters in our everyday to day life. Why does it happen, right? What is the cause? It is because of our actions in our day to day consumption of the energy. We say the consumption of energy has brought about natural disasters. So what has it shown? It is saying talking about the cause of those natural causes, natural disasters, is because of our actions. So the word bring about is talking about cause and not about bringing stuff from one place to another or to someone. For example, the new policy brought about significant changes. So this means the new policy, right, has caused significant changes. Because of this policy, the changes has happened. So brought about basically means it's the cause of how something has happened to another. Next one, bring in. Bring in again, if we just focus on the verb bring, again it means the same thing, to bring something to another, right? But then instead of about, I have written in. Now the meaning changes. Okay, and what is the change? To introduce. Bring in. So they brought in a new manager to improve the team. They introduced a new manager. They brought in new ideas. She is responsible for bringing in new ideas, right? So, what does that mean? Bringing in means to introduce a new idea. So, bring in means to introduce. So, you can use it in that way in various sentences if you want to. Just remember that the meaning must remain intact in all of these usages of phrasal verbs. Let's take a look at all the other examples as well. Call back, to return a call. Example, I'll call you back. So call back. If you just talk about the verbs, this one, sorry, call back, right? So you have the word call plus the preposition back, or even an adverb as well. So what you'll find here is when I say call back, it does not just denote an action of me calling to someone like this, right? Performing the action of calling someone, but rather it is to return a call. That means to, whenever you receive a phone call, you are giving back them a call. So that is a callback. I'll call you back later. I think this is a very basic thing. A lot of times, this one may be considered as a verb itself, but it is actually a phrasal verb. Call off. The same word call has been used here as well, but here we are using the preposition off. Call off means to cancel, to completely stop whatever has been done or is being happening. So call off is to cancel, to stop something. The meeting was called off. The wedding was called off, right? So cancelled, okay? The meeting was cancelled. The wedding was cancelled. The birthday was cancelled. How do you use, what type of phrasal verb will you use? You will use call off. The birthday was called off. The wedding was called off. The meeting was called off due to bad weather. So, called off is basically to show or denote the cancellation of something. Now, these are the various examples of phrasal verbs. We can learn a lot more in all the examples. We will find a lot of sources of such examples in the further classes as well. So, please keep on watching and have a very nice day. Thank you.